Hey everyone, welcome back to Sample Text.
Okay, we're gonna level with you. You guys blew up our Rivals 2 video, and the support on those videos have been insane. We seriously appreciate all the love and support you gave us, as well as the massive growth our community saw after that.
But since not all of our videos are about Rivals 2, it seems YouTube doesn't quite know what audience to show our videos to.
So in an effort to refocus our channel, we will now be producing exclusively platform fighter content, mostly about Smash Bros. And to help YouTube understand that this is our new niche, we will also be posting a bit more frequently.
But don't worry, these shorter Smash Bros focused videos will still be made with the same sample text quality you know and love. For example, this video's topic, let's see here, which Smash characters would be the absolute worst to be stuck between for an 8-hour flight? Okay, which one of you idiots came up with
This video is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Book and reserve your flight today.
Okay, this is going to be a precise and scientific process, so buckle up. For this exercise, we'll be assuming that you get the middle seat, the most uncomfortable place to be on a flight. From there, each of the sample text guys will be picking fighters from the roster of 89 playable characters in Smash Ultimate, with the goal of creating the worst possible flying experience for you. First up is Ethan, who will be choosing the fighter to your right, at the window seat.
I thought about this for a while. Like, who would just ruin your whole flight experience without even trying? And I already hate flying, so how could it be worse? And honestly, it's gotta be Lucas, 100%. First of all, just look at him. That kid looks like he smells like warm Gatorade and dried pee. I don't know why, maybe it's the shorts, but I just know deep down, if I sat next to him, I'd spend the whole flight subtly leaning away. But that's not even the worst part. This kid would absolutely be that passenger who opens and closes the window shade every 3 minutes. Oh, you are napping? Not anymore. Full sunlight directly in your face. He'd probably act like he's just curious about what's outside. Like, we're not literally 35,000 feet in the air flying over Texas or something. And you know he brought some weird snacks too. Like, not just peanut butter crackers or trail mix, no. Lucas has some sticky, earthbound universe goop in a tin he's gonna open at 10 a.m. with the smell of egg salad. And he's gonna offer you some too, unprompted. Just a cold, wet glob of mystery mixed with boogers. Let me paint another picture for you, shall I? Imagine if there's turbulence. He's crying, full meltdown. You're now parenting this child. Where are his parents anyways? The flight attendant walks by. They think he's your kid. Now you look like a bad parent. So yeah, I'm choosing Lucas. I was trying to decide between him and Ness, but honestly, Ness looks like he's just a kid that would spend the whole time on his iPad. Now, let's kick it back to Burge, who will be picking who will be sitting at your left on the aisle seat.
Thanks, Ethan. The obvious advantage of the person who has control of the aisle seat is that they're directly blocking any means of escape. If we're assuming we're on an 8-hour flight, this will become an issue when you're inevitably in need of a bio break, especially if you have as small of a bladder as I do. While someone like Donkey Kong may at first seem like a bad option, as he would take up a lot of space and be hard to get around, I feel as though his kind-hearted nature would make him very understanding and apologetic. A much worse option would be a character like Ridley, who in the past has famously been too big to be in Smash, so they would be impossible to scooch past. Not to mention the fact that he's also a genocidal maniac who would likely try and kill me for even trying to scooch past him. Not only that, but despite his stoic appearance, Ridley also gives me the vibes of someone who would be looking to loudly discuss his deep-seated political opinions. I can just imagine this terrifying dinosaur loudly yapping about how the TSA was created by sissy liberals, and he remembers back in the 70s when he used to be able to bring fully automatic firearms onto the plane. Despite trying to deflect with simple uh-huhs and yups, he would continue talking for hours, and if I tried to put my AirPods in and ignore him, he would just poke me and say, "Hey, can you hear me?" until I give him another weak response. Add in spiky metal skin and a horned tail, and you've got a pretty miserable 8 hours ahead of you. Now let's hear who Trey thinks would be sitting one row back, directly behind you.
Thanks, Burge. That was very descriptive. Anyways, we all know there's nothing worse than having to sit in the middle seat of a flight. That's already been established. Now pair that with the fact that someone else is also directly behind you in the same circumstance. You're not happy, they're not happy. It's just one giant unfortunate situation, if you ask me. So when I picture that ideal individual to be seated behind me, I'm thinking of someone who is mild-mannered, polite, and even a bit understanding. For example, I would picture someone such as a friendly Princess Peach, the eager Pokemon trainer who is too busy checking their Pokedex to bother anyone, or even a literal sweet angel like Pit. But both you and I know we don't live in an ideal world. And both you and I know that even the most amicable people can turn into a hot mess on a flight that's lasting up to 8 excruciating hours. Which, if you're like me, you can't sleep on flights either. That's why I can say without a shadow of a doubt that Mr. Game & Watch would be the worst Smash character to be seated behind me. Not only is he sporadic and unpredictable, but he's infamous for his egregious combo potential. And I'm not looking to get comboed relentlessly in an aluminum can suspended thousands of feet above the surface of the planet. Being that he is one of the lighter characters in Smash Ultimate, I think I wouldn't be too worried about the size of Mr. Game & Watch, but more so the endless beeping that seems to originate from every move that he makes. And not to mention, but you already know he's going to be pulling some of the most outrageous rage bait mid-flight. I mean, just step into my shoes for a second, right? I can't sleep. Where's that beepy coming from? Mr. Game & Watch. Why is there oil on the floor? Again, Mr. Game & Watch. Who's cooking a meal in coach seating? Mr. Game & Watch. Needless to say, if I ever saw this little man enter my flight, I would have to take a deep breath and recite a prayer before throwing myself out the window into a free fall before taking a seat in front of Mr. Game & Watch. Now let's hear Eric's thoughts on the matter.
Alright, look, I could easily say the worst person to have in front of you is Bowser because he's big and he's got a tail, but where's the fun in that? My pick for the worst Smash character to be seated in front of you is the Ice Climbers. Hear me out. You're currently surrounded by the worst imaginable cluster of circumstances, and all you want right now is to be sitting anywhere else. Ahead of you, there's 3 seats, 2 taken by the mild-mannered Nana and Popo, and 1 aisle seat that is completely free. Nobody's sitting in it. Just knowing that there's a seat in this plane that could save you from the upcoming 8 hours of extreme discomfort has to be the worst possible feeling. And let's be clear, you're not going to be able to take that seat for free. Not only would Lucas start crying because he got a new seat but I didn't, but Ridley sure isn't letting you get out of the row. Heck, Mr. Game & Watch might tweak his way into the spare seat before you could. And of course, the most egregious sin of all, they would have their seats reclined for most of the flight. Look, I honestly don't care if the person in front of me reclines because, they barely move, but I know that some people really care. And we're making the worst experience, right? So let's add that detail.
And there you have it, your Smash Bros. Worst Smash Bros. Characters to be stuck on an 8-hour flight with. What do you all think? Are you appalled that none of us picked Wario? Surprised that we didn't choose Mr. Massive Sword Murderer Sephiroth? Let us know what your worst plane seating situation would be in the comments below. And while you're down there, consider subscribing and liking the video. Thanks for watching. Have an amazing rest of your day.